Well, hello, I'm Dr. Michael Sameka, and today I have with me Bill Laney, and we are going to be discussing Neuro-Meditative Dance, and that is a branch of Thriveapeutics that involves movement. And I think you're going to learn an awful lot today regarding this practice. And without further ado, let me welcome Bill Laney.
Well, thank you, Michael.
So, are you packing a lot of good insights about neuromeditative dance?
Well, I hope so.
Okay. What do you remember about it going back?
Well, when we do neuromeditative dance, it's basically very deliberate, mindful, meditative type of dance. We're trying to engage our neurology. We're trying to increase awareness. And it's one of these things that when we start, this would be just an idea of how it goes. When we start, we want people to allow the music to move them rather than moving to the music, because we want all of our attention to be focused on how we are feeling and just who we are, how we're feeling, what we're doing, being very mindful of the whole situation.
Well, how do you feel when you're dancing? Can you explain a little bit? Because the best way to really learn about meditative dance is doing it. And so on a video like this, and you're hearing us talk about it, it's not really the same. So can you explain what you feel when you're doing neuromeditative dance?
Yeah, that is a really good question. In fact, I'd like to have you also tell me how you feel. But personally, when I start doing that, I basically close my eyes. I listen to the music. I feel my body. I just really focus on how I'm feeling and allow the music to move me. And at a certain point, if you're really being mindful, if you're really moving, allowing the music to move you, you begin to feel a synthesis. You're one with the music. You're one with the movement. And you leave your mind. You are not trying to be in a cognitive place, rather in an experienced place, an experiential place. So I guess that's about the best way I could put it. I mean, it's very difficult to explain feelings, but it's really just trying to experience what you're experiencing rather than thinking about anything that you're doing.
I do think like having a default theme like In-Touch-Ness is very, very important, because I find that I get that benefit organically anyway. It seems like as I start doing this, even if I didn't have a theme and I was just doing it, I would start being aware of my body and how my body wants to move, or I would be in touch how my body is moving. Either way, it doesn't matter whether I'm in touch with my body and it's telling me how to move, or I'm observing how my body is informing me how it's moving. And I think that that's fascinating, that there is that loop, like afferent and efferent, sensory and motor. I do get that. And I actually enjoy every once in a while looking in a mirror, for instance, and then seeing what it even looks like, not to be self-conscious, but just to get some ideas of like, oh, I'm looking a little stiff up in my shoulders as I'm moving. I need to put more looseness up in my shoulders.
Yes.
And there is that In-Touch-Ness that's visual, sometimes like we do in Catalyst with observation, with witnessing. And I think sometimes it's helpful to feel, to see, and to touch. So for me personally, if the theme is In-Touch-Ness, I am becoming more in touch with areas of my body that previously I wasn't in touch with because I wasn't moving, I wasn't dancing. And so I do go to another like altered state or a transcendent state, which is why it's called neuro-meditative dance. And because that's already not my normal, like, functioning state. It's already different. I'm already like plugged in. It's hard to explain, but I know that I really appreciate that something not me emerges. Even if my dances are familiar to me, being present to the body and being present to my body's movements is always new, is always fresh. It's always present. It's always like right now. And so that's been my experience. It almost like helps me be present with my body, or be in the now with my body, both on an afferent sensory level, what does my body need, and on an efferent level, just observing how my body is organically moving and just learning from my body and being in touch with my body's movements that it's doing as it connects to the music.
I think that's an excellent description of the kind of the feedback loop that we're looking for in neuromeditative dance, and that's a really good description. That really is what we're looking for, what we're trying to achieve. And after you've done this for a while, I tell you, you really become more aware of your body, and more aware of your body, not just while you're dancing, but in your day-to-day life. You find it easier, at least I do. I find it easier to kind of connect with myself. And I think that's one of the really important feedbacks and things that we can learn from this. I have another question for you. Have you noticed in the groups that we have had during neuromeditative dance and doing that, have you noticed individuals who have done neuromeditative dance, have you noticed them having improvement indicators in their lives? Things that you might attribute to having done neuromeditative dance?
Well, absolutely. I think that's a great question. If you're doing healthy practices beget healthy practices. And so I think that neuromeditative dance is a really important component, especially for the body, because it is self-care, but it's care for the body because you're moving. And I think it's almost like people who do yoga or stretching or walking or whatever, you go to the gym. There is a benefit to having coordinated movements, if you will, or intentional movements or deliberate movements. And the benefits that people get from doing this and being more in touch with their body really mimics the benefits that we see in a catalyst session. And that's what I really love about neuromeditative dance, is that it helps people like give themselves a session where they can be both facilitator and participant, meaning like active stopping, they're scheduling it. It's like they're scheduling to do a neuromeditative dance at home, and they'll put on the music that they'll want to use. And I do want to go into that. I want to go into the phases of a session. But I do find that the results, just to answer your question, just are very, very similar with other results when you're doing things that are good for you. Like when you are drinking water and you're changing your diet, you will feel a shift. And it only lasts for as long as you're practicing it. If you stop practicing it, then the results fade away. So it's a good practice to have.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't been in position to notice people benefiting for it over a long period of time as much, but I totally agree with what you said there. And it's like it's an adjunct and to catalyst in that sense, because it really is a way that people can integrate maybe their catalyst work and certainly integrate their dance work. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Well, people have recursions, brain states, and their body can get caught into a pattern. And if you catch a certain pattern and you might feel your body is stiff, for instance, and you might go, wow, I really need fluidity, or I really need to have some freedom of movements. If you use that as a theme and you do neuromeditative dance, you'll actually get in touch with exactly the strategies that your body needs to release itself for you to enjoy freedom and liberation and have free-flowing movement where you're really, really tight. Most people are aware of the feedback they have that's uncomfortable, but they're not inspired to take from that point of view and then perhaps do a practice like neuro-meditative dance where they can be the solution for whatever they're experiencing. So if there is tightness and they know they have to like release some tension or release some energy or move things, just to get things to be more peaceful, for instance. So even if it's downright pain, I'm experiencing pain. It's like, well, what if you were to do neuro-meditative dance to introduce peace into specific regions of your body that are requesting peace? So this is the importance of having themes. Did you want to speak on that at all?
We've talked about catalysts as, work that is being mediated through the body because it's a hands-on body work type of thing. But when you're doing this hands-on work, the person may be getting spiritual benefits. They may be getting cognitive benefits, neither of which are hands-on, but they still get those through that. And neuro-meditative dance just goes right for the jugular because it is a physical movement-based practice.
That also will give you the same spiritual and cognitive results.
Exactly.
That's what I thought you were going,
Yes.
Because I do feel that. Why don't you go over the phases in neuro-meditative dance? Like break it up, because we have it broken up into, like in Catalyst, intention, initiation, and integration. We use different terms for that with neuro-meditative dance, and I think it would be a good idea for you to cover that.
Well, basically, we want to establish a theme, first of all, and then when we have a theme, we're going to start a warm-up. And when we initially hear this music playing, we want to listen to the music and allow this music to move us rather than just move to the music. So you're going to let the music move you, and we're going to do this for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we're going to enter into the initiation phase, and we're just going to continue to move with this music. And after we've done this for 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to start to slow down a little bit. Another part of this initiation phase, we're going to do that for 5 to 10 minutes also. Then we're going to enter an integration stage. At this point, the music is going to change. It's going to be more of a meditative type of music. We're going to be still and basically be aware of ourselves. Now, we may have to move just a little bit, but very gently, not anything like the dance we were doing before. Finally, the music is going to stop. We're going to enter a stage of silence, what we refer to as practical integration. Now, this is very important because practical integration is a state where we're thinking of how we're going to move, how we're going to re-enter the world in a way to keep as much of the benefit of neuro-meditative dance as we possibly can. We don't want to jump up. We want to just lay there in silence until we feel that we can move. And when we do move, we want to move very, very gently. And Michael has some suggestions on the type of music that you would want to use for this whole.
I do, actually. What I want to say about the warm-up music, number one, is you don't want it to be too aggressive. You want it to be nice. You really want it to be like warming up. You don't want to have too much drumming, too much like evoking feelings. You want to be able to just let your body, it's like a form of stretching, if you will, when you start to warm up. Not that I really want people to think of it as stretching, but the way you would stretch before exercise. It's a slower kind of energy, if you will. And so the music is allowing for warming up, for getting loose, for moving gently, not necessarily looking to move to the theme. The intention is just to get more in touch. And I love how you say, just stand there until the music inspires you. I think that is a great, great, great suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. Another thing is then when you get into the initiation, like you mentioned, there's 2 parts to the initiation, and each part is 5 to 10 minutes. But this is where the music is really important, where you want to really capture the theme. The first part of the initiation, you really want to represent the theme. So if the theme was In-Touch-Ness, for instance, this is where the music is important. I like to have a music that has some kind of beat, some kind of rhythm where you can get lost in the music. And again, you want to do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then after you're done really expressing and learning how to move to the theme in such a way that you're representing the theme, then you want to start slowing down, which is really important. You don't want to move the same speed, the same intensity. You want to have it more deliberate, the movements. And so the second part of initiation is this slowdown, which is also 5 to 10 minutes. And you could have drums there as well. It just wouldn't be as aggressive, if you will, or evoking. It wouldn't evoke the same kind of movements. And what I was thinking that I would do would be that I would offer a link where I'll make a track for like In-Touch-Ness for people to listen to. And it'll be in the description of this video. And then you can listen to that. And it'll be about 10 minutes for the warm-up, 10 minutes for the initiation, 10 minutes for the slowdown. And more importantly now, integration, where it's more meditative music, where you're learning to stop, where you're learning to be still, where you're learning to really be present to what you're feeling in your body, to what did you just initiate, and to feel the ripple of the dance, and to be present to your body, and to be present to the benefits that you got from the dance. And that will last also about 5 or 10 minutes. And it's nice because you can go into theta. It's a brain state, which it's almost like a transcendent state, where it is a meditative state, where you can really drop in and kind of find yourself not even being present. You may wonder if you've fallen asleep or something like that. And do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then what happens is it's over, and the 10 minutes is over, and the music is done, and you're done. And now be with the silence, and just let the silence be there. Don't get up too quickly. Be in the consideration of how you're going to move to maintain that place. And give yourself permission to stay in that inquiry for 5 to 10 minutes, where you actually discover how you're going to now move to keep the feeling that you got, that you were able to enjoy from that stillness, from that integration phase. So I do believe that the dance is really over when the music stops. But this practice of practical integration, where you're in the consideration of how will I move to keep this feeling, to keep this theme in my life, that's a beautiful inquiry. And it allows you to really get the most out of your dance, because now you're converting it into your real life, into your waking, into how you move, how you will get up. And I find that that is just very, very, very beneficial. So when you do see the track that I'm going to make for you, I will put like about 10 minutes of silence even. If you need the whole 10 minutes, take it. But after the meditative music for integration, I'm going to give you silence, and I may even give you a little bell to say the 10 minutes is over, because how do you know when the silence is over? And then play with that. And then the best part of this is you get to come up with your own themes and your own music. You can actually find music that really inspires you. You could find your favorite music for warming up. You can have your favorite music for integration, for the stillness, for lying down and being present to your body. And you might have this really evoking music that you like for neuro-meditative dance itself, for the theme, for the initiation. And I think that's when it starts to become an amazingly supportive practice, because you get to personalize it yourself. And you can get to come up with themes that we haven't even thought of yet, themes that really support you. So is that a good coverage?
That's good. That really fills it out, rounds everything out. That's really nice.
Like Catalyst, neuro-meditative dance really does help increase somatic awareness,
Mm.
and body dynamics. And so regardless of whatever your theme is, and you could use a theme to enhance somatic awareness or body dynamics or both, but you're going to get that benefit. You're going to be more aware of your body. Your body's going to be more aware of itself, which is very beneficial. And you're going to have more malleability, if you will, or flexibility or expression. Your body's going to be able to move more fluidly for having done this. And I find that to be incredibly helpful and incredibly beneficial. And so there's so many reasons why I really strongly recommend that people adopt this as a practice into their lives, whether they do it every morning when they wake up, or if they do it before they go to bed, or they pick certain times during the day. But it's very beneficial. And the more that you do it, the more benefit you'll get. And you're really only limited by your own imagination, especially when it comes to themes. It is very, very supportive to have a theme and then to move in support of that theme. So that's the idea of this neuro-meditative dance. And the idea, another big reason to have themes is with a theme, you're less likely to hurt yourself than if you were to do like trance dancing. You might jump around pretty wildly. And if you don't have it with the limits of 5 to 10 minutes, you can get lost in a meditative place and lose being in touch with your body because you've actually left your body and move around wildly. And then when you're done, you could feel like, ow, I might have hurt myself because you were in a meditative state. You weren't really in touch with your body. So there is a lot of wisdom to having a theme because it helps you, even if you go unconscious, to move in a way that you're not going to hurt yourself, that you're going to protect yourself. And I think that's very important. So,
Yeah.
well, Bill, I think this is good for right now. I think this is a nice summary of neuro-meditative dance as a Thriveapeutic practice. Certainly a really good at-home practice. Thank you. Any final thoughts at all, or are you good?
No, I think we've covered it. I think this has really been good. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. So look on the description. Go ahead and listen to the music that I've played. If you want, you can try it now. It'll take however long it takes you to do this, depending on the stopping. And just want to thank you. And thanks for your interest in Thriveapeutics. Take care.